Okay, Algebra. Today we're going to continue our look into number systems as we look at an introduction to percent, and then we will continue our look at percentages over the next couple days here. So first off, let's talk about the meaning of percent. So percentage is a convenient way to express ratios. So say you're taking a survey and 16 out of 28 people like the color red. Then percentage is a way to represent that in a common way that everyone can kind of read, because 16 out of 28 is not really a common fraction, but if we say that that is a certain percentage, then we know exactly where that stands. So percent literally means per 100. So cent is a suffix that means 100. That's why there are 100 cents in a dollar. And it makes calculations easier to put everything over 100 because we are in a base 10 system. So we'll see as we start converting things back and forth that working with 100s is pretty easy, and that's why percentages are so useful. Okay, let's look at how to calculate percentage. What we're going to do is we want to put our percentages as a fraction with a denominator of 100. So that's going to be our goal in this section. So whatever fraction we're given, we're going to have to figure out, and then we are going to change it to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. And the numerator of that fraction will be our percentage. So we'll see what that means in just a minute, but essentially whatever we're given, we want to change that to a fraction, something over 100, and that something that's in the numerator is going to be our answer. Okay, percents over 100. It is possible to have a percent over 100. That's a little bit weird to think about, and it's not applicable in every single problem, but it does show up from time to time. For the purposes of this section, this means we are working with more than one whole. So one whole would be 100%. If we have more than 100%, then we are working with two or three or however many more wholes. So knowing that this exists will be useful when we deal with concepts like percent change later, because we could say, hey, a company had a profit increase of 150%. That's a totally valid statement, and we need to be able to calculate that. So we'll look into that later, though. Okay, let's do a couple practice problems here. So we're going to start out here with each big square represents one whole, and I want you to notice something. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 across, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down. So this is 10 by 10. This is a square that's split into 100 smaller squares. So our work is actually done for us as far as converting the fractions, because this is already out of 100. So this left square here is 100%. Now over here on the right square, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns that are all completely filled in. And I note there's 10 in each column, so I'm going to say that that is 50. And then on this one that's not all the way filled in, I've got 9 out of 10. And now to find my percentage, I just need to add up these three numbers, and that will get me 159. Okay, see if you could find this one. All right, again, this time we've only got the one square, and we're not using the whole thing, but that's okay. We can figure this out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns that are all completely filled in. So we can say that that is 50%, and then we've got these two over here on the left. So our total percentage is going to be 52. Okay, try one more here. All right, so we've got more than one whole again. So on the left side, this entire square is filled in. So that is 100%. And then over here on the right side, I've got two full columns. So that's going to give me a 20. And then I've got 2 right here. So this is 122%. Okay, good job. Now let's look at some where maybe we don't have a denominator of 100 already, and we need to figure out how to get one. So first off, we've got these 2 rectangles. Each rectangle below represents 1 whole. So I know right off the bat here that I do have 100% already because this left rectangle is 100%. But on the right side here, I have 4 out of 5. And I need to change that to a fraction that is something out of 100. So I've got a question mark out of 100, or an X out of 100. So what I need to ask myself is, what do I need to multiply 5 by to get to 100? And then I need to multiply 4 by that same number. That's going to give me an equivalent fraction. Now, if you can do this quickly in your head, that's fine. But remember, if you can't, that division is the inverse operation of multiplication. So if I divide 100 by 5, then I will actually figure out what I need to multiply by. Because 5 times whatever my answer here is going to be 100, and then I will multiply 4 by that same answer. So 5 goes into 1 0 times, 5 goes into 10 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. So we end up with a 0, bring down a 0, and 5 goes into 0 0 times. So I need to multiply 5 times 20 to get to 100, which means I need to multiply 4 times 20 to get my fraction here. So 4 times 20 is going to be 80. So I've got 80 over 100. And don't forget that I did start with another 100% over here. So my final percentage is 180%. Okay, now you try this one. All right, this one's not too bad. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 10 is a really nice denominator to start with because we know we have to multiply by 10 to get to 100. And 7 of these are filled in already. So to get to a fraction over 100, I needed to multiply 10 times 10 to get to 100, which means I need to multiply 7 times 10 to get to 70. So 7 out of 10 is the same thing as 70%. And let's do one more. Okay, try this one. So we've got one shaded piece of the pie out of 4. So this is 1/4. And we want to change this to something over 100. All right, so we need to figure out, what do I multiply 4 by to get to 100? So 4 into 100. Just do a little bit of division here. So 4 goes into 10 twice. 2 times 4 is 8. We can carry down the 0. And now 4 goes into 20 5 times. And then 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to have a remainder of 0. So that means that we need to multiply by 25. And our percentage is 25. And you probably didn't even have to do this over here if you just think about money. You know that there's 4 quarters in a dollar, and if you've got 1 quarter, it's worth 25 cents. That's exactly where this comes from. So we'll check it, and we've got it correct. Okay, so that's what I've got for you today. Be comfortable with changing these fractions, and bring me questions if you have any, and I'll see you in class.